So my name is Lisa Duncanson. Hannah is a 22-year-old young woman with autism spectrum disorder. She's among a very large, growing group of young adults who are finishing high school and then joining the community and going, now what? For example, Hannah, she's not going to hold down a 9-to-5 job. She has cognitive difficulties, communication difficulties, and she has some behavioral challenges. But she's an amazing artist. She has skill that we feel could give her that opportunity to support herself, make her a member of the workforce, and give her those opportunities that other people have. Right now, she gets SSI, which is a little less than $600 a month, and that's it. She doesn't qualify for anything else because she lives with her parents. She can't even get food stamps, but $600 a month is not enough for anyone to live on.
My wife and I started GoFundMe because we want to help ensure our daughter's future. One of the things that certainly hit me this past year, and I'm sure Lisa as well, is that Hannah is very dependent upon having us here to help guide her in her day-to-day activities, and we want to provide as much enrichment to her as possible. Now, you've seen the basement. I mean, it's a okay basement, but it's certainly not someplace where she's going to flourish with her artistic skills. So what we want to do is we want to use that space right outside that door to create Hannah's art studio.
She does these fantastic ceiling tiles that could go in hair salons, pediatric dental offices, doctor's offices, pediatricians' offices. These ceiling tiles are colorful, and they're scenes they know of cartoons and characters that they can relate to, and that gives them something to focus on during their visit. She has a ceiling tile in a hairdresser salon right now. It's a scene from the movie Tangled, the Disney movie, and it's Rapunzel with her hair wrapped around her feet. And ladies lay back and they see this tile and they're like, oh my goodness, that's adorable, who did that? And we want to create a business for Hannah of selling these ceiling tiles to various companies so that she can supplement her income, because Social Security is never going to give her enough to live on.
We just don't have the resources on our own to be able to provide Hannah with that sort of enrichment. So my wife and I decided that yes, GoFundMe was a way to go, and that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to raise upwards of $40,000 to create that space out there for our daughter so that she can live as fulfilling a life as possible and perhaps even sell some of her artwork.
She was diagnosed at the age of 2.5, and the psychiatrist who diagnosed her for us said, well, Hannah's probably never going to talk, and you should just understand that by the time she's a teenager, she's going to be in an institution. Well, you can imagine my response to that was not really pleasant or very professional. But what it did do was it motivated me. And I went back to work the next day. I was an executive chef at the time, and I quit my job. I went back to school. I contacted anybody and everybody I could think of and said, help me learn, because my daughter deserves that. So I learned, and I started working with special needs children, and I spent 18 years educating young people with autism or Asperger's. I work now part-time outside the field because I burned out and it was time for a change. So I work retail part-time because I need to be home for Hannah. And it helped when Jim was in Afghanistan for a year. One of us had to be here for the girls. We have the 2 girls.
So from June of 2004 to August of 2005, I served over in Afghanistan.
He's been serving for 25 years. He still serves in the National Guard. He works with homeless veterans. He's been doing this for a long time, but when he was gone in Afghanistan for a year, the girls were young. Hannah was only in grammar school. It was a struggle to keep the household running. It was hard for him to hear what I was dealing with back home, trying to help Hannah and keep our older daughter going, and he had to listen to all this, from 2,000 miles away, and there was nothing he could do to help. It was a very challenging time for all of us. I think especially for Hannah, who's always been pretty close to her dad. when she was 7 years old. She couldn't shut her head off. You know, if you've ever had one of those nights where you just can't shut your brain off, you know, we call it insomnia, we call it any number of things, but for Hannah it was every night, and she couldn't fall asleep until about 1 in the morning. And this was every day. So she was waking up and having to go to school and have demands placed on her, and she was having tantrums and she was crying, and she laid in bed one night just crying and throwing her head around, and I went in and I sat on her bed and I just rubbed her back, and communication still wasn't really very good for her, and I just said, you have to find a way to tell me. What can I do? How can I make it better? What do you need from me? And she stopped and she looked at me, and probably for the first time, as clear as day, she said, Hannah is broken. I want you to fix Hannah. And my heart broke. It still makes me tear up, sorry, because she's my child and my job is to fix her, and I couldn't fix her. But it motivated me. It made me work even harder. We found ways to help her. We found ways to teach her how to relax, to shut that off. We consulted neurologists and doctors and found other things that would help her. These are productive young people who need opportunity. We need to give them different situations. You know, we don't need a generation of grocery shopping or grocery store baggers. So what we want to do for Hannah, we want to give her that chance. If we build her an art studio, a place where she can produce these amazing ceiling tiles and some of her other artwork, then she can sell them and supplement her income and get that sense of accomplishment and being part of a larger community. I want to make sure people understand that we're not raising this for us. I don't need another room to clean. I don't need the noise and the mess of construction. But what I want for my child, what I want for my daughter, what I want for this community of young adults is a means for them to support themselves. It's not going to be a cubicle. It's not going to be grocery bagging at our local store. And it's not going to be picking up cans every Friday morning in the neighborhood.